So I get a lot of questions around electric vehicles and maintenance. So both John and I have EVs. John's got a Kia Soul. I've got a Tesla Model 3. And John, I have to say, after about a year and a half now of owning the Model 3, I haven't had any service done to my car. No oil changes, no fuel filters, nothing really.
I've had mine for about a month, and I did some research before I bought, as you did as well. And generally for these types of vehicles, there's just not a lot of maintenance. You can go into your dealership for an inspection, typically after 12,000 kilometers or about a year roughly. And they're going to just sort of make sure everything is still there and working properly. My particular car actually sends me a monthly health statement. It checks all the systems and sends me a little report, so I know that things are okay. But sometimes there's things like, your windshield washer fluid, maybe your brake fluid, and those types of things that you might need to look at. But for the most part, these are pretty low maintenance. You're not doing a regular oil change like you would with a traditional combustion engine. And even regular brake maintenance isn't something you need to really worry too much about with an electric vehicle, because these vehicles have regenerative braking systems, so you're not actually using your brakes as much as you would with a traditional vehicle. Of course, occasionally you will have to hit the brakes, but for the most part, in my car and Mike's Tesla, we have regenerative systems, and we use something called one-pedal driving. So we're either pressing the acceleration or we're not. When we're not pressing it, the system actually slows the car down just because it sort of tightens up the motors and doesn't allow the wheels to spin, which is essentially a braking system.
Yeah, I hardly ever touch my brakes anymore. And so, I looked in my Tesla manual, which is the app, and essentially it says every 2 years you should get the brake fluid checked for contaminants. They don't even have a regular checkup or maintenance. They say you don't need to. Just, they will alert you through the car and the app when you need to change certain things. So air conditioning, every 6 years you should have that looked at. Mine has a couple different types of air filters for the internal air system and a HEPA filter. That needs to be changed every 2 to 3 years. Again, the app and the car will tell you. Other than that, I did have to change my windshield wiper fluid. I had to put more in. I don't even know where to put anything else. There's no, like you open up my trunk and it's a frunk. It's just storage.
Yeah, I mean, you have a hidden panel that sort of covers all the important stuff. My car is a little bit more like a normal car.
Yeah.
You see all the different places that you can actually put fluids. But for the most part, I'm only touching the windshield washer fluid.
However, if you are in colder environments, especially in northern Canada, they say that you might want to check some of the other brake components, the calipers and things like that. But I've known a few friends now that have had Teslas for a few years, and they have not had to change anything on the brakes. The biggest thing on the Tesla side is just the tires, essentially, and that just depends how much you drive your car.
And what kind of conditions you're in and stuff like that as well, yeah.
That is one important part of owning an electric vehicle. I mean, obviously you got to look at the fuel costs, which there are none. It's just the electricity, which is a fraction of what gasoline is, and the maintenance costs are just dramatically lower. I mean, I've had Mercedes and BMWs and Audis, and they cost me a fortune. Every year I'd have to have some like service A or service B. It was like $700, and I mean, that was just the start. And they were just constantly changing things on the motor and the brakes and everything. So it was literally costing me thousands of dollars. Even though electric vehicles are a bit more money right now, I think, over a 5-year period, you'll end up saving money.
Well, and I think that's the important thing that people need to consider when they're looking to purchase an electric vehicle is the total cost of ownership. And those maintenance costs that you would have with a combustion engine are pretty much gone.
Exactly. So saving money on gas because you're sipping electricity, and maintenance costs way down.